Since video games have been around, it has connected millions of people all over the world, online and in person. And if you've ever played them, the chances are that at some point in your life you have played a racing game. Anything from old arcade racing games, Mario Kart, sitting on the couch with your friends, Need for Speed, and so on. But there's another series with some unique features that you won't find in those much more popular games. Let me take you on a journey through the history of one of the longest running racing game series that continues to grow to this day, Trackmania. Over the last 2 years, I have fallen in love with a game and its community. Even though it has been around for more than 20 years, it seems to be pretty niche nowadays. I'm sure you might have played one of the earlier games when you were a kid. Today I want to take us back to the year 2000 when two French guys and a few of their friends founded a gaming club. If I had to ask you who of these two is like the nerdy guy who only works on video games that are called Trackmania, and who's also the cool guy who works in movies and is a producer? Damn right, it's this cool fucking drippy looking guy. Yeah, he doesn't just work on video games, he also makes cool animated movies. Like the true story of Puss in Boots?
Not an ordinary cat. I have boots. I am Puss in Boots.
Okay, anyway, let's get back into the story. Trackmania is a video game series made by the game studio Nadeo, which might ring some bells from your childhood. Today, we will go over the first game, Trackmania, released in 2003 for Windows XP, and within 2 years got a bunch of updates, such as Power Up, adding more blocks and tracks. All combined together, it was released under the name Trackmania Original, which we will dive into this video. After only being available in France and the UK, the game was released to North America in 2004, and later on to the rest of the world in 2005. Back in the day, the game got really good reviews, such as from Alex Navarro of GameSpot, who called the game completely worth it if you have any interest in PC driving games or ever liked miniature cars as a kid, saying that the driving mechanics aren't perfect and it isn't much to look at. He nevertheless called it a great game with plenty of depth and lasting appeal. But what made Trackmania so unique compared to its competitors out there? The game had a built-in track editor that lets you choose from different blocks the game had to offer to build your own tracks and even share them on the official game website. You would need to play the single-player campaign to gain currency. For each track you were able to get a rating from bronze, silver, gold to author medals. The better the rating, the more in-game currency you would get. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. To unlock enough blocks to design your own maps, you need to dive into the campaign and start grinding through the challenges. Trackmania's first game introduces 3 distinct cars, each tied to its own unique terrain: snow, desert, and rally. Progression is straightforward but demanding. You must complete each map in sequence, as every track is locked until you conquer the one before it, adding to the challenge. Each car comes with its own set of mechanics, responding differently to your inputs. The snow car excels in handling tight, fast turns. It also accelerates fast in backwards gear than it does in forwards. It does not have a very high top speed when going backwards, but depending on the track, it will still be more advantageous to go for the fast acceleration over top speed. For example, the reason some of the checkpoints in this track are driven backwards are the very steep hills. While the desert car has a tendency to tilt, often lifting one side into the air. Meanwhile, the rally car is the most unpredictable, frequently breaking traction, causing you to slide and lose precious speed. Mastering these differences is key to navigate the campaign and unlocking your racing potential. But the campaign had even more variety to offer with 4 additional game modes, each adding its own unique twist to the gameplay. First is puzzle mode, where you're given incomplete tracks and you're tasked with placing the right blocks to complete the circuit. Once it's finished, you drive the track to test your solution. It might take a few tries to get the idea to be able to get your desired medal. Then comes the stunts mode, a chaotic and creative experience that feels like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but with cars. Your goal is to rack up as many points as possible by performing flips, spins, and tricks within a set time limit. Your final score is tailed when you cross the finish line. Next, there's the platform mode, a test of precision where you jump from platform to platform, navigating tricky layouts to finish the map, with as little resets or use of checkpoints as you can. This is the only game mode where speed actually doesn't really matter, and it's all about making the jumps. And lastly, Survivor Mode, a high-stakes challenge where you face off against 4 opponents on a series of tracks. The key? Complete multiple maps in a row without resetting. Winning allows you to skip 2 maps, and your ultimate goal is to conquer every track the game throws at you. Each of these modes brought unique challenges and added endless replayability, making it a playground for both creativity and skill. My favorite one after playing this game for hours now has to be stunts. Figuring out which stunts exist and which bring the most points and how you can integrate them on the current map just makes it a lot of fun. Also, what might be worth mentioning is that I've been playing on an old laptop with the laptop keyboard, which is really not ideal, but it works and it has been fun. Also, I only did that because I was too afraid to actually break my actual setup, which did happen while setting this game up. So I think that was actually the right call. But let's continue with the video. After relentlessly playing for hours and putting all your effort and sweat into the campaign, it's time to open the track editor and build your own challenge. Inspired by the maps you've played, or maybe real-life racing tracks you've seen on Formula 1, or this one really cool part of your drive to work where the road tilts because of the construction while changing lanes and you feel like you're a race driver yourself, you get into it. Fully proud of what you created, you go online and share the map with the members of the community. And maybe you find some new map for yourself, trying to beat other players' records. Since the game has evolved to many more titles on various platforms, how come this is still playable? And the answer is the community. People have altered the game files and merged it with files from later released titles to make it playable under Windows 10. You can find Reddit posts linking to sources explaining on how to install the game, like from this valued player of the community. Also, just a few months after the release of the first Trackmania game, a forum was opened named TM Exchange, which was created by the users named Mr. D and JP. It was used to share maps and records driven by the players. It's still up to this day with a database set of over 26,000 tracks. You'll find tracks from as early on as 2004 and people still uploading maps to this day. These players are even sharing videos of the records they have driven, all thanks to the dedicated crew keeping it up and running. But your creativity doesn't have to end there. You are also able to create your own skins and make the cars look the way you want them to, meaning you could make your own Ryan Gosling car or whatever you have in mind. After some time, you might feel like playing this game alone isn't as much fun anymore. Don't worry, why don't you hop onto multiplayer or set up a LAN party with your friends and compete against each other? All in all, this game was filled with so much to do, and you could always repeat maps trying to get a little bit better and beat your own record, which is the real charm of this game. And maybe that's why this game is still being played until this day. People go back for nostalgia reasons, or even 20 years later are still trying to beat this one world record, and somehow even still uploading maps to this day, which honestly blows my mind. Perhaps after seeing this video you feel the urge to dive back into this game and see the intro appear in front of you just for one last time, or maybe even for the first time ever.